In this video, I'm gonna go through 7 basic cuts for whittling, plus one additional one that I use quite a lot, but haven't seen on other YouTube channels. And these cuts will get you very far on your whittling journey. In fact, in all of my tutorial videos, these are the cuts I'm using, plus maybe occasionally some more specified variations of these basic cuts. The first one is the rough cut, and for that, you just push the knife away from yourself and let the movement continue beyond the block. Just like that. Now this cut is the reason why a lot of people are told you should always cut away from your body, because these kinds of cuts would be extremely unsafe this way. But when you're cutting away from yourself and there's nothing in front of you that you might hit, this is a perfectly fine way of removing big chunks of wood at a time. This next one is the push cut, and this is probably the most common whittling cut, at least if you count all of the different variations of this. So the most basic version of this, similar to the rough cut, but instead of just letting the knife move freely, you're creating the motion by pushing the back of the blade with the thumb of your non-dominant hand. This cut is great for when you need a little more control compared to rough cuts, and when you want to make small, shallow cuts, for example, to make things a little bit rounder. Now for this, I think it also helps if you twist the wrist of your knife hand also a little bit. So instead of just doing something like this, which is a perfectly fine option too, I'm able to create a more effortless movement by moving both of my hands. The next cut is the sweeping cut. And the two of the most common ways to make this cut are the rough cut version and the push cut version. So the rough cut version of the sweeping cut works the same way as a rough cut, except I'm twisting the blade to create a more curved shape like this. So the motion is something like that. And then the push cut version of this sweeping cut works the same way. This version is more controlled, and making the curves more aggressive becomes much easier. And the two of the most common ways to make this cut are the rough cut version and the push cut version. What's also pretty common is a paring cut version. So this is just a regular paring cut. We'll get to that soon. But the same twisting motion is present in this one, as it is with all sweeping cuts. Next we're looking at the V cut. And in the most basic form, it looks something like this. So I cut from two opposing sides to create this kind of a V shape. And now with this too, it's important to handle that push cut type of movement, because a lot of these more intricate cuts where you actually need to control the knife, you do it by controlling it with this thumb. Now there's also a different version of this cut, and that is made with the tip of the blade. Sometimes you can just make one side with the tip of the blade and the other one with the entire long edge of the blade. Other times you're going to have to make a cut like this. And this is called a paring cut. And a paring cut is one of those cuts where the blade actually cuts so that it comes closer to you instead of cutting away. But that is completely fine because the motion comes from the closing of the hand. So I'm not pulling the knife like this. That would be hazardous, because if I slip, then there's no control over here. But when it comes just from closing the hand, even if the knife slips all of a sudden, it doesn't go anywhere. But that is only the case when you keep your thumb way below the line where you're cutting. So keeping it over here is not safe, but keeping it down here where the cutting motion will continue and it's gonna go above the thumb like that, is completely safe. This next one is one of the easiest cuts. So this is called a stop cut. And it works very similarly to the V cut. So first I'm just creating this cut by pressing the blade into the wood like that. And then I'm cutting towards that cut I just made. And as you can see, the knife just neatly stops where I made that initial cut. And with these cuts, it's very typical that when you're actually working on a project, you're going to have to redo the initial cut to get deeper. And then you just repeat the process. Now this is basically the same cut as a V cut. Some people even just call all of these cuts stop cuts because it works very similarly. I'd say it's just mostly a stylistic difference. And even if you think that a stop cut is just something where you actually press the blade directly into the wood and then do this, and a V cut is more of a symmetrical type of cut, there's a lot of gray area when you actually get to making some more intricate projects. This next one is called the pyramid cut, and it's basically the same as the V cut with the tip of the blade, except instead of making 2 sides, we're making 3 or more. So if I cut like this with the tip of the blade, then I cut from a different side, and then again from another side. We can cut off this small chip like that and get like an inverted pyramid shape. Something like that. And this works the same way even if we make 4 sides. Now, unless you're very experienced with this technique, after you cut off the chip, you're gonna have to do some refinement because it's a little bit difficult to make the cuts align perfectly for that inverted pyramid shape that you're trying to make before you actually see the shape for the first time. Now the final cut in this video is what I call reverse push cut. And it can look like this. Okay, so I'm just making a V cut here, but instead of flipping the side like this, I can create the cutting motion with the twist of my wrist while supporting these fingers over here and this thumb on this other thumb. And why would you ever do that? Well, over here I can still cut this way, but it's pretty difficult. If the V cut was in the very end, like this, cutting from this side is gonna be very difficult. Now I could manage it because of this, but it's much easier to just do this. So again, I'm not pulling the knife towards myself, I'm only twisting the wrist like this. And this cut on this side makes it extra safe. So I wouldn't start a cut like this, it doesn't make any sense. But when I already have a cut like this that can stop the blade, doing this becomes very effortless and safe. Now that's it for the video. I'd be happy to hear in the comments about any particular technical issues that you might have had, if there are some cuts that feel too demanding or dangerous, and other video ideas are also welcome as always.